We, what is going on, Aztec Nation? Welcome right now to a new episode of the Sons of Montezuma podcast. It's a Kiss the Rings episode. And, well, Aztec Nation, we're happy to see you. It's been a crazy week, unlike any other. I can't remember an off season that has been this wild, probably ever. So, first and foremost, we want to thank you guys for joining the chat, joining us tonight. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on the channel. It really goes to help us out here at Sons of Montezuma. And join the other, 1,300 subscribers. Join us, Aztec Nation. We are growing. We appreciate you, all of you in the chat. We're going to get into a whole lot. Of course, you could find me on X, Twitter, all that good stuff.
I'm an Aztec warrior.
At Mateo San Diego, of course, at Sons of Monty on X and Twitter as well. You cannot stop him. You can only hope to contain him. And sometimes, well, I can't even contain this dude. What is going on, SD Sports?
Back on top, Mateo. Really excited about the news today and that we're going to get into. But yeah, feeling a lot better. You know, that's the roller coaster ride that is the transfer portal.
It is, man. I mean, I'm we were down in the dumps at the beginning of the week. I got my rally towel over here. I think it's easy to say we're regrouping pretty well. I feel really good. And if you guys have not read Fiend's article this morning about our newest addition, the newest member of the Aztecs basketball team, Mr. Wayne McKinney III, right? We got that number 3. You got to put up the threes. Is it pretty safe to say we're just living in Wayne's world? We're just living in Wayne's world. Excellent, man. We got to re-record this in like my garage or something like that, dude. We got to like turn it into Wayne's World Studios. Man,
Yeah,
party on. You had this article out so fast this morning. Like you guys sent me a gif of me running around the corner. I look like Forrest Gump when he's running out of his house down the road. He just kept running because I wasn't at my computer to hit that post button to get that article out. So make sure you guys go read it. It is an awesome overview of Wayne McKinney's game. Okay, Fiend, you got to break it down for us because you got that article out so quick. Like I said, I couldn't get to the computer fast enough to post it. What about Wayne just had you? You put in on Twitter 2 years ago. You had a premonition. Was it Fiendstradamus came to you? Like, how did this whole thing come about?
I mean, I've loved this kid's game for a couple of years now. And yeah, I put it out on Twitter when he was in the portal that, he would be a great Aztec. But the problem was we had a glut of guards, and so there really wasn't a spot open for him. Obviously, Lamont Butler was a year ahead of him. And then when he got in the portal, for whatever reason, they didn't decide to recruit Wayne. They targeted Darian Trammell. Darian Trammell was their guy. And once they got Darian and once they got, they had Lamont in the fold, and then you add in Seiko and Bradley, there were no spots left really at the guard position. I mean, he wasn't going to see any playing time. But this kid is San Diego through and through. I know he only played 2 years at Coronado High School, but he loves San Diego. He's committed to this city. This is the first time since 2019 that we've had a San Diegan or someone from San Diego who played their high school basketball here playing significant minutes for the Aztecs. That is awesome. Truly a hometown hero. I love his game. I think he's a great player. I watched him in Swish League. I watched him battle against Darian Trammell, and it was an epic game that they played. I mean, both players just going at each other, hitting big shot after big shot. I mean, it was a showdown, and I was impressed with both of them. And I remember going to Wayne in the parking lot over at La Jolla Country Day School after the game and saying to him, "Man, I am so impressed by your game. I wish you were an Aztec." And he just smiled and he was like, "Thanks, but there's nothing we could do to make him an Aztec." Fast forward 2 years later, the right situation presented itself, and he's ours. He's ours.
Oh man, that's see, I love to hear this because the more I learn about Wayne, and I mean, you're a fiend, man. So you're there at the Swish League every summer. You're seeing guys that we may not be familiar with. And now that I kind of unpack and learn a little bit more about Wayne, it's pretty awesome all the connections that he's had with Aztec basketball. Of course, playing here at USD at Coronado those 2 years, right? And he was a big time player there. What was he, a 3-star recruit coming out of high school? So it's not like people. I got some out there that are kind of like, okay, USD, like how are we feeling about this? But I mean, when we say hometown hero, and I got this question over on Aztec Mesa, right? They're like, okay, well, what makes him a hometown hero, right? He was up in Portland, moved down to Coronado, played those 2 years. So, like, how do you define a hometown hero? Well, okay, he played at Coronado, right? 3-star recruit out of Coronado, went to USD, and now he entered the portal and he's staying in San Diego to play down the 8 freeway on the Montezuma Mesa. So that criteria alone, deciding to stay in town, right? Okay. But there was a amazing article that you referred me to in the UT. What was it, last year or so? And really telling the journey, the life lessons he had gone through, the battles he had overcome, not only on the court, off the court, really. And I mean, is there some of that you want to bring into this conversation? Because I mean, geez, you talk about a hero. I mean, anybody that can battle against cancer and come out on the other end. I mean, whew, take your hat off to that.
Yeah, I mean, so he found out he had cancer right before he moved from Portland to Coronado, and he hid it from like his teammates. He didn't want anyone to know. He thought it would affect his recruiting if people knew that he had cancer. So he was getting treatments, lost his hair,
Mhm.
had to battle through all the side effects of chemo treatment, and he just battled through it. No one knew. Only the people in his inner circle knew that he had cancer, and so that was the first time he had shared about that. What an amazing, story of just resilience and the heart of a champion. He is the heart of a champion, and just all the adversity he has overcome. Seeing his father, or I don't know if he saw his father, but his father was murdered when he was like 5 years old, and so
Yeah,
grew up in a tough neighborhood in LA. Um, and you meet the guy, he's like the most humble, nicest, grateful, and just you can tell he just wants to be at SDSU, and he wants to win. And he fits our culture so well. I'm just thrilled to have him. Can't wait to see him. Hopefully this summer in Swish League, and then definitely next year.
absolutely. So, and I want to make this point very clear because yes, he overcame the illness, right? The disease, he overcame it on the other side, but that's not necessarily where the hero comes from, right? Because anybody who battles that, whether you come out okay on the other end or not, you're battling it. You're a hero, man, to go through the treatment and all that stuff. So I want to underline that because he's blessed. He's blessed to be a young person and go through that and to persevere. He's blessed, and like you got a chance to meet him, right, and in person, so you could vouch for just the approachability, all that good stuff. He played at USD for Sam Scholl those first seasons. So there's a connection, right? Sam Scholl later, when his time was through there, came right across to San Diego State, was part of the Final Four national championship competing team. So there's that connection right there. So it's just it's just a natural fit. I love what they said, that he just looks like an Aztec, right? I think Coach Velasquez said that on the radio. He looks like an Aztec, doesn't he? And it is definitely a big shot in the arm, a big boost for us in Aztec Nation. I think much needed, right? Having that connection and just welcoming in such a a highly respected young man, local, and he's got game, and he's got game. So you put all that together, uh, definitely, definitely some good vibes going on this week to turn things around a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, with everything that has gone on, and people exiting the program and the fan base getting a sense of, wow, these guys, maybe they don't want to be here because we don't have the money. And then you get a guy like Wayne from San Diego, who San Diego State was his dream school, but because there wasn't an opening at the guard spot, he just didn't have that opportunity. And he had to wait until his senior year before that opportunity presented himself and he was able to grab that spot. And the guy absolutely wants to be here. He wants to be an Aztec. And for all of us fans who were, if you were let down by, the guys who were leaving, this gives you some hope, that people are choosing, that the name on the front of the jersey is what matters most. And that's what
Mhm.
I get about Wayne is like, he doesn't care about stats. He doesn't care about any of that. All he wants is wins. He wants to win for San Diego State, and I want to be a part of that. I'm so happy he's a part of our program.
Want to thank everybody for joining the chat. We see you at John, the Aztecs wrap up show. Thank you for joining. See you, uh, Force Ghost Fabio says Mesa match $31 for 100K. Let's go. T Mac, thank you for the super. Thank you for joining us once again. I have faith, he says. I have faith in the Aztecs and the coaching staff. I was never in doubt about the program assembling a talented roster. Faith in the Aztecs. I dropped some extra donations to the Mesa Foundation, the Mesa Foundation. Good on you. Good on you. They're pushing forward towards their goals, and I know we're gonna have a nice little contribution to that very very soon. So yeah, man, having this young man join us, it's how do you say? It's interesting to hear the coaches talk about it, especially Coach Velasquez. As we said, he was on 760 earlier today. I believe it was with D Smith. I think it was D Smith, and to hear his perspective, right? It's pretty awesome, and it kind of like dispelled some of the things from the fan base this week, right? You're talking about the transfer portal, and like we opened the show, this is one of the craziest off seasons ever. But I just really appreciated Coach Velasquez's words talking about how what the fans see on the social media is so immediate, right? And that reaction is so passionate, and a passionate fan base is it's what we are. But at the same point in time, you got to realize that relationship is different than what the coaches have with the players. So they're not caught off guard. These transfer portal issues aren't, drop of a hat. They're not surprised. These are things that they monitor with the young guys. They lead up to their decisions like, hey, this may be what's gonna happen. So it was really reassuring to hear that. And then you follow it up with Wayne's World coming to San Diego State. It really gives you some confidence to know, okay, though these guys may be on their way out the door, you bring in somebody that's familiar with the culture, familiar with the program, a high character guy, high character leader like Wayne, and you feel good. So I can echo T Mac's sentiments there. I think it's good to hear that. It's a lot of confidence boosting for sure.
Yeah, you see that, the three guys that we got in Nick Boyd, JCJ, and now Wayne McKinney. I mean, all of them really echo the same thing. That hunger to win, that they're team guys, they're just great attitudes, and great players as well. Like, it's not like we're just taking guys who are nice guys. Like, they can absolutely ball out. So I think all three of them are going to fit in really well with our program, and that's what our coaching staff does. They assemble a roster that fits our culture, not necessarily just getting guys in, with tons of talent that might be able to help us. I mean, they're really looking for the right fit, and I think we got it in these three players, and hopefully another one, because they're talking about another transfer, hopefully on the way, power forward, likely.
Yeah, very curious about that. Now that the portal is closed, and we're all breathing a little easier. Now they can go back, look, really evaluate who they want, and I'm sure they got their ideas already. So let's talk a little bit more about Wayne, though, because your article, you put out some really interesting stuff about his game specifically, right? So when you say, what are the Aztecs getting here? Expound a little bit on what the Aztecs are getting with McKinney.
Well, he kind of looks like Darian Trammell in stature. They're both kind of shorter guards. I think that McKinney's a little bit taller, but both of them really have great vertical jump. They can get up high and release the ball over taller defenders. McKinney can dunk the ball, man. I don't know what his
Wow.
vertical leap is, but he's got hops, and so not only can he do that, but then he's a good on-ball defender. He's a pest on the perimeter, and so like Lamont Butler, he's going to cause havoc on the perimeter, getting steals. His steal percentage is really high, so expect him to be stealing the ball a lot with Nick Boyd and turning, taking the ball the other way in transition, hopefully for layups, a lot like Darian Trammell and Butler did. And then he's a pretty good 3-point shooter. I mean, he shoots 34%. He's a good catch and shoot perimeter shooter. He's got good floater, good mid-range game. He attacks the hoop. He's really aggressive. And because he's got that ability to kind of hang in the air, kind of like it kind of reminds you of like Jordan a little bit. How Jordan would just sort of hang up there, and it was like, and then he would.
Easy, easy,
I'm not. Hey,
easy,
look,
easy,
I'm
King.
not saying
Easy,
he's
King.
Jordan. I'm just saying he's
I,
got that like
I know you're
ability though.
Chicagoland. You're a Chicagoland kid. You grew up watching
Now,
Air
see, now
Jordan.
everyone's gonna say
I
Fiend
know.
said he's the next Jordan. No, no, I'm not saying that, man. What I'm saying is his ability to kind of hang in the air and adjust his body, get contact. He gets to the line a lot. He shoots a good free throw percentage. And the great thing about him being on the Aztecs as opposed to USD is he doesn't have to be the guy. He can go get you a bucket if he needs to, but he is going to have a much better supporting cast on SDSU than he did with San Diego. And so his stats should be a lot better with SDSU, since he is not going to be the focal point of other teams' best defenders.
Okay. Okay. I'll hear you on that. I hear you. I don't want to get so stats driven though. Maybe percentages and all that stuff it should go up, but as far as like amounts of points, I mean, because there is only one ball. And the guys that it seems like they're bringing in, JCJ, right? He's very offensively talented. It's going to be interesting to see how everybody meshes together. One of the things people are talking about with the transfer portal and all the musical chairs of players and whatnot. It's like, okay, well, you tend to just have the blinders off and just look at your own team and be like, well, oh man, now everybody's gonna have to get acquainted with each other's tendencies and the chemistry is they got to build new chemistry. It's a whole new team. Yada 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 yada. Every single team in the country is going through they're in the same boat. We're all in the same, right? It's the same waters here. We're all navigating the same waters. Every team is going to have to build new chemistry with basically new rosters that you're going to have to deal with. So I don't feel as bad. The Mountain West has gone through a ton of shakeup. So knowing that we're bringing in veteran guys, I feel pretty good about that. Definitely feel pretty good about that. I'm not gonna say he's Jordan though. I'm not gonna say he's Jordan. I'm not gonna say Wayne's Jordan.
I say he has Jordan-like qualities, but I'm not going to say he's Michael Jordan. Okay,
Right. Yeah.
there is only one
Yeah.
MJ.
Yeah.
Wait till you see. Just wait till you see when you see his hang time. You're gonna, oh my gosh, and he gets up there. Um, but I agree with you that every team is going to have some adjustment and time to mesh together. I don't anticipate us to be as sharp in the beginning of the year like we maybe have been in years past, because we've had the retention on the roster and guys familiar with the system and feel familiar with each other. That takes time to develop. So, we could struggle through the beginning of the out of conference schedule next year. The hope is that after Christmas, after the New Year's, that we're gonna, put it together and then ride, a wave of momentum into the Mountain West tournament. So that is the hope. But yeah, we are young. There's a lot of new pieces. And so who knows how it's all going to fit together. I don't anticipate his numbers to stay the same. I actually think they probably will go down. And he will have to sacrifice some of his scoring. But I think that possibly like turnovers and maybe his assists go up and things like that. Like he might have a better assist to turnover percentage than he had at USD because he had to do so much on his own.
Well, I love you putting out that friendly invitation to JCJ in our interview with him as far as Swish League goes, right? Because having Wayne that's participated in the Swish, that's a very active summer league. So, hey, if they can pull JCJ in there in the summer league with Wayne and the other guys, that's just an added way to get acclimated with each other's game and get some play in. Okay, guys, before we get to your comments, definitely want to pay some of our own bills here. Sonsofmontezuma.com. Make sure you guys are checking out our shop. It's football season right around the corner, but we got a lot of good products in there, a lot of staples. Of course, our caps there, our beanies, as you guys saw, some of our fitteds and snapbacks, all that good stuff. You guys can save 10% right now if you guys use our promo code Monty, Monty. You even saw we got a bikini in there. Got little kids, flip flops, and of course, my favorite. We just made these puppies, these high top canvas. Well, some people call them chucks. I sport those things all the time. So make sure you guys are checking it out. Sonsofmontezuma.com, our online shop. Save yourself 10% off with promo code Monty, Monty. All right, guys, let's get to some of your comments because I see you guys are active. Let's see. Lonzo Ball, I love this kid. Just like JCJ, this is so cool. So, hey, I hope one of these days we can have a conversation with Mr. Wayne, and maybe we can recreate Wayne's World on the show. That'd be a lot of fun, dude. That'd be a lot of fun.
That would be awesome.
But yeah, definitely, Fiend can vouch. Just a approachable young dude. JCJ was great. If you guys haven't seen that interview, definitely go check that out. Big man, and he brought some good tidbits, some good stories on his recruitment. What's going on, T-Mac? I'm glad that Fiend is happy. He was looking sad on that last broadcast. He sure was, man. He was down in the dumps. A lot of conversations are had off air that you guys don't listen to or don't have the chance to listen to. And I don't know if we were. I don't think they would want to hear those conversations because, boy, we were either tearing each other down or trying to bring each other back up after smacking each other down verbally.
Yeah, there was a verbal war of words going on. To put it nicely.
And for those of you guys wondering, Mike could not make the show this evening. He's a family man, right? Gotta take care of the little one at home. So yeah, gotta do it. Okay. Lonzo agrees with you, man. We're gonna be athletic and fast this year. I'm excited. Maybe not Michael Jordan fast, but maybe Aztec fast on the basketball side, right? Maybe we use Aztec fast on the basketball side. Let's do it. Love it.
I would love it. I just don't. Our pace of play with our defense, it always seems like we kind of slow it down a bit. But yeah, I would like to run it more with McKinney and Boyd and some of these other guys that have length and quickness. We can get out on the break and get some fast break buckets. It'd be awesome. It's a lot of fun too when guys are out on the break and you get someone trailing. They, throw up an alley oop and a huge dunk, and the crowd goes wild. I mean, I want to see more of that on the Mesa.
Yeah, man. I mean, talking about athleticism, you're talking about Wayne, and of course you got Nick Boyd, and then of course you got Waters, right? And then Bird. We're looking at Bird. So I mean, just those four alone, man. That's a pretty it's a pretty nice looking backcourt and some wing players as well. I'm curious to see what's next.
Well, then no one knows about Guath. It's kind of like, well, last year no one was talking about Ladie preseason. I don't even think he was in the preseason Mountain West conversation for like all conference, like first, second, or third team. And he goes out and he's like one of the most dominant players, not only in the Midwest, but in the country. And it seemed like we knew what we had, like, I don't know if we knew to that extent, but we knew he was going to be great. I thought he'd be first team all conference. I feel kind of the same way about Guath, that like no one knows about him right now. Like no one's talking about him. I've seen him play in Switch League, and man, he was the most intriguing player last year that I watched. And I have some video on my Twitter page that I filmed last year, and I can't wait to see him this year and how he's developed. In 1 year being in the program. But man, that guy 7 foot, can shoot, has quick feet, can guard 1 through 5, swats the ball. Just needed to get some size and some Trujillo's menu in his body, and you know he's going to be really exciting to play. And then I can't wait to see what like Farrell Compton. He could absolutely tear it up. I mean,
Yeah.
he could be freshman of the year next year, possibly, depending on how much playing time he gets. But he has that type of talent, and so we're really underrated. Like I think we're under the.
Oh.
Did I freeze
Fiend, you
up
kind of
there?
you
Yeah.
froze up on my end. I don't know what everybody else was listening or
Yeah,
watching
yeah, yeah.
to, but yeah, he could be.
Anyway,
He's
I
underrated.
think
He's
we're gonna. I
underrated.
was. He's underrated. I was flying under the radar there. But that's what I meant to say, is that he's flying under the radar. Our whole team, I think, we're gonna fly under the radar into next season, and some of these guys could really break out and have huge seasons, and people will be talking about the Aztecs.
Lonzo Ball, I don't know if I agree with your name, your handle, that he can do it all. But when's the last time, he says, when's the last time we had this much height? I can't remember the last time we had this much height. I mean, was it maybe the Kawhi team? I mean, they weren't necessarily the tallest team. They were long, they were athletic. You had Billy, Malcolm, Kawhi. You had yeah, you had some guys coming off the bench even as well that were pretty big. But as far as this tall, I can't remember, man. I can't even think of.
Yeah, it's hard to remember how many 7 footers have we had.
Yeah,
Like
not many.
Cam Rooks.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Trying to think of
Eddie O, what's going on, Eddie O? I like your little comment here. He says SDSU will more than likely. Okay, starting us off. No disrespect, guys, because no disrespect, and then you wait for it, and here it comes. SDSU will more than likely never be a big school or a bag school, right? Bag school, is that what you're talking about? The bag, getting the bag. But Dutcher has proven that if you want to be developed to be the best version of yourself, then SDSU is a great school. Can't get everyone. What do you guys say about that, Fiend? I tend to agree with that. I think SDSU has a tons of potential to be a bag school, right? I mean, it's the only basketball, it's the only football in town. So hopefully some corporate dollars will start to surround that and support that. But on the grand scheme of things, right? We're not a blue blood. We established that. But with what Coach Dutcher, Fisher, and him have done, they've really established a culture, and they maximize the most out of your time here on the Mesa. And I think guys are seeing that, and that's why they want to be here.
Yeah, I mean, we have a history of doing a lot more with less. Whereas a lot of these blue blood schools who have the resources have achieved a lot less with more. And a team like in our own conference, like UNLV, I mean, they've had tons of resources over the past 10 years, and they haven't gotten out of the quarterfinals of the Mountain West tournament in their own arena in 10 years. So you talk about the team that's probably underachieved the most in the Mountain West, it would be UNLV. And so, yeah, we consistently overachieve with the talent that we have, and it's about that recipe. It's about Chef Dutcher bringing in the right ingredients to cook up a really successful team, and we seem to be able to do it year in, year out. Yes, we've had more attrition this year with guys transferring out, so it's made it more difficult to replace the coffers. I think Dave Velasquez really hit it on the head in his interview today, where he was saying that like the recruiting period in April is so much different now than it was like a couple years ago. They had it really easy back then. Now they're really working for their paycheck now. And he's just so happy to get that last spot filled so that he can, spend time with family and go do some other stuff, because the guy's been grinding since before the beginning of the season. I mean, it just didn't stop once the season was over for the players. So those guys definitely have earned their paycheck and they need a break. But they do a great job. They've done a bang up job again. Obviously, we're going to have to wait and see the results, right? Next year, that will be the proof, right? But on the outside looking in from what they've done, I'd have to give them, a very good grade for the players that they brought in.
T Max says lots of talented players in the LA area. That is a fact. That is one thing that San Diego State has been able to build our culture and winning tradition off of, is bringing a lot of these LA kids. The Inland Empire has been very, very, very good to San Diego State, and vice versa. Really establishing San Diego as a destination. There's so many players in the LA County area or in the Inland Empire, so it's like you can't all go to LA schools, and you don't necessarily want to go to all LA schools, right? I mean, a lot of craziness going on up there right now. Okay, DJ Dubs, I'll take a DT 2.0 any day. Look forward to seeing the best Wayne McKinney the third, though. We all are, man. It's gonna be a little bit of a different kind of player, right? He likes to get downhill. He's athletic in that sense, right? But DT 2.0, that hey,
Like I said, he's kind of a hybrid between Lamont and DT. Lamont was the one who really got downhill and got to the bucket, and that is what Wayne does really well, attacking the rim, attacking the bucket, and then but at size and ball handling and sort of being a pest on the perimeter, stealing the ball. I mean, Lamont did that a lot too, but Darian, he reminds me a lot of Darian in that respect, and so I think you take the best of both and you combine them together to get Wayne McKinney.
Okay. Let's read this comment. Silver Joker, with all the talent coming in, do you guys think Dutcher has a go-to player like Ladie last season in mind? Does he have a go-to player in mind, or does he let that develop organically during the season? Who would be your player? What would be your player? That's a tough one, man. That is an absolute tough one. We knew that with Ladie, moving on to the professional ranks, we are going to have to get a lot of offensive production in this team coming back. I think we've already kind of spoken to this a little bit as far as Waters goes. He showed the ability last year, especially in the out of conference season. He won that designation of the tournament MVP against Cal. He really showed some explosiveness there. If he could maintain that, pick that back up, be healthy, he would definitely be somebody that stands out. And I think a lot is to be seen for JCJ. At that veteran low post position, his ability to hit shots at different ranges, different sides of the court. Those would be the two that I'd be looking at. But I mean, I know you've said, Fiend, it's got to be a balanced effort, so maybe something organic.
Yeah, I mean, Jaden Ladie, night in and night out, almost always led us in points last year. I think next year it could be any one of like 6 or 7 guys that could lead the Aztecs in points on a given night. And I like having that balance in scoring. So if someone is not going off, there's a chance that someone else is. So I like having that balance. We saw it first half to second half against UConn, and where Jaden Ladie really played well, like shot the ball well in that first half. Second half, he couldn't hit a bucket, and they blew us out, And so, putting your offense in to run through one player, you run that risk if they have a bad night that it really tanks your team's chances of winning the game. So by diversifying, having a bunch of guys who can get you a shot, and it just depends on who's open and who's hot, and who's knocking them down. And I don't know. I kind of like the balanced approach. Well, let's wait and see though.
Well, just knowing that you have that ability to be balanced, right? That anybody can put up those numbers. I mean, that's not many teams can say that. I think we have a good what do you say? Arsenal of guys that have that ability. So hey, I'm feeling pretty confident in that. Feeling pretty good about that.
I think this team, though, to be successful next year, they're really going to have to play like a team. Like they're really going to have to share the ball. They're really going to have to be unselfish, find their open teammates, and then shoot with confidence and knock them down when it's their turn to shoot. So, but they're going to have to play team ball to really excel, I think, next year.
Absolutely. All right, guys, before we get into more of your comments, I got a nice little announcement, Fiend. I got a nice little announcement. Thank you to all you guys, all you sons of Montezuma, for your support this past month in our Manscaped special that we had for you guys. Of course, we're talking about the Lawn Mower 5.0 Ultra, manscaped.com. You guys can definitely get your savings. And they are a local based company in San Diego. Guys, we want to thank you for your support of that sponsorship that they had with us. That, you know what, by your efforts, we're going to run it back. We're going to run it back with Manscaped, manscaped.com. You guys can still save 20% off plus free shipping on your order. But we got a new promo code. We got a new promo code, guys, and that is Suns20. So if you use Suns20 right now at manscaped.com, you can save 20% off plus free shipping on your order. They have been really, really great with us. And I can tell you the products, you hear that? That's quality craftsmanship. That's quality right there. It's so smooth. It's so smooth. That thing, man, you can use it. It's waterproof, and it's got even a spotlight on that sucker, man. Have you? I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's got like a headlight or something, dude. It's got like a crazy. I don't know if you want to do it in the dark, if you want to manscape in the dark, but you have that ability if you so choose to. If you're, if you live life on the edge, I don't know if you do that for me. I don't know if you live life
off the grid with no no electricity.
Look at this thing. Yes, you got spotlight capabilities. Spotlight capabilities. Beautiful, beautiful. Guys, thank you for your support. We're gonna run it back with Manscaped. We appreciate it, all you guys. Thank you so much. All right, let's get back to the comments. See, everybody's really excited about this move, man. I don't know what's next. I don't know what's coming down next, but I'm ready for it. Hey, we're gonna have to get Coach Koo back on here. Swish League needs online streams or full games on YouTube. Couldn't find any footage last year. All right, Coach Koo. The people have spoken. The people have spoken. All right, W. We'll see about that. We'll have to see about that.
Usually it's me with my iPhone just filming some, clips of guys. That's pretty much all the coverage you get from Swish League. But I think they did have it a couple of years ago, but yeah, you're right. They didn't run it this last year. It would be great if they did tape those games and people could watch that weren't able to attend.
Well, we'll bring up that conversation with Coach Koo. Okay, so here's something that Fish San Diego brings up, and he's talking about. I honestly think Bird can run the point at 6'7". Serious ball handling skills for his size. Just needs to work on decision making. Okay, but that prompts my thinking, right? Because we're bringing in Nick Boyd, bringing in Wayne McKinney, and then we got BJ Davis, a young freshman, right, going into his sophomore year. So we got a lot of guards, a lot of point guards with the ability of distributing the ball with handles that can score. So from your point of view, Fiend, we'll get to Bird secondary, but what it really prompts to me is the handling and the rotation. How do you really continue with the development of a BJ Davis and bringing in Nick Boyd and now with Mr. Kenny III? How do you foresee that happening?
Well, I mean, we don't know what the starting lineup is going to be. I mean, that they're going to compete in the summer and through the fall to see who gets those two starting guard spots. I mean, they could run Bird in there as a third guard, but then you'd really be kind of small at the four position. So it's one of either like Bird or McKinney. I don't see Waters coming off the bench. I think he'll be in the starting lineup this year. But either Bird or McKinney would be coming off the bench. My guess would be Bird would be the six man coming off the bench. And so the thing is, like when you say run the point, we don't really have Aztecs haven't really had a true point guard. We have multiple guards who can run the point and handle the ball, and you saw that a lot with Darian Trammell and Lamont Butler the last couple years. So I don't think there is no such thing as really a true point guard. If it is Boyd and McKinney, then Bird maybe with Davis in the second group when they come in, sharing that backcourt. So I could see him running the point some, but I don't think that's going to be his primary position next year, at least next year.
Okay. Now Eddie O brings up this comment, and I know we've talked about a little bit of this before. SDSU needs to get bigger guards. It's killed them the last 2 years versus UConn. But ask yourself this, Eddie O. UConn's killed everybody. So what like what else do you need to go against a UConn? I mean, boy, you talk about size at every position, guard, center, power forwards, wings, like there isn't a position on the court that UConn didn't kill everybody with. I mean, they mopped up the whole tournament, you know.
I think Illinois' guards were like 6'4", 6'5", and they lost by 25. So
yeah.
I think there
It would
may
be
be
nice to have, right?
yeah, that's a
It would be nice to
luxury,
have.
but you know what? If you have the perfect lineup, you're probably also going to have to pay big dollars for that. So you may have to, sacrifice in certain areas. And with Wayne McKinney, like if he were 6'4", 6'5", I guarantee he'd be going to a blue blood school. But because he's 6 foot, that's why he's been undervalued, just like Darian Trammell was undervalued. Now, the thing I like
Yeah.
about Wayne McKinney is he is able to guard, like if he gets caught on a switch, he is able to guard taller players and, without getting just completely back down and beat. And he's a really, really tough defender. And he does a really good job of, trying to front them and, drawing charges and stuff like that. There's a really good video out there that we posted in the article that is a film room breakdown. You guys should check it out. It is with I'm not exactly sure the guy. It's called Big Guard. I don't know who he is, but he interviews Wayne, goes over his film, goes over his game, the strengths, the weaknesses, what he needs to work on. And this was from his freshman year at University of San Diego. It's a fascinating, if you want to learn more about his game and what he's been working on and really kind of what he's about on the court, you should go watch that video. And so one of the things he talked about was his ability, even though when he's caught on a switch, he can guard these bigger, taller guards, which I think maybe Darian Trammell might have been more of a liability in that area than Wayne McKinney will be. Wayne is a little bit taller, but he's strong and he's got really long arms. So I think he's going to be able to handle bigger guards or, just he's going to be able to guard taller players.
Very good, very good. I like the little comment back here, Lonzo Ball. I think our rim protectors can make up for it. Plus, we have Bird and Waters who are tall, referring to the guard comment. Good input there, Lonzo. And somebody brought up, hey, can Bird run the point? Well, maybe if you got some matchups where you got, the defenders are tall guards, you have that ability to play some of those guys at certain spells, certain minutes that they can provide help in that situation. Okay, well, I'm feeling pretty good. Like we said, moving forward, we're not sure exactly who they got their eye on as far as that last scholarship. It is in fact just one scholarship remaining, right?
Yeah, and the nice thing is they can kind of take their time now, right? Because they know who's in the transfer portal. Obviously, guys will be getting picked up here and there, but they can really do their film study and figure out, okay, what is it? What do we really need at this position? Do we need a wing? Do we need more of a rebounder? What is going to help this team be the best that it can be in 2025? And so I like where we're at, and that we only have one scholarship left. We didn't have a mass exodus from the team like we were kind of concerned about after Lamont left, because we didn't know who else was thinking about jumping in the portal, especially after Micah Parrish left, and you heard all the comments and all the money that he was getting at Ohio State, and so you just never know as a fan. It's like your worst fear that like the entire roster is leaving, and fortunately that didn't come to wasn't true. So I'm feeling pretty good about where we're at right now.
All right, answer 321. Receive my Manscaped in the mail today. All right, let's go. Let's go. Guys, I think I saw Arthur Kaluma put himself in the portal. Did he get snatched up yet, Mr. Fiend? Did he get snatched up yet? Arthur Kaluma. That is, those of you who are wondering, that is Adam Seiko's brother. So I'm wearing the Seiko shirt, and maybe a Hail Mary that we can bring in Mr. Kaluma. I don't see that likely happening though, right? He was kind of making a push for the pros, and if that didn't go out the way he's hoping, maybe he can command some dollars at a transfer destination, I'm sure.
Yeah, you weigh the value of a two-way contract versus what you can get at a university, staying in school for another year and developing your game, and then maybe entering the draft again next year with hopes of being drafted. So that's kind of a couple of the guys that were declared for the draft, kind of using that as leverage. So I don't really think that is a realistic possibility for us. I mean, he's a great player. It's great story with him and Adam Seiko, and but I just don't see how that's going to fit into our plans. So I wouldn't count on that.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised DeMarche did not enter the portal. That was probably the biggest shocker out of all, and just to be real, that was might have been the biggest shocker out of this whole transfer portal madness. And I don't say that anything because I don't feel like I've seen enough of his game to really know what kind of player DeMarche is going to be. It just, and that's all I can dictate off of it, is that if you're not getting the minutes, if you're not getting those opportunities, maybe it was a sign of you can get those elsewhere. That didn't happen, so I can't really comment too much on his comfortability, T-Mac, or anything like that, because I just hadn't really seen enough, or really to where I can really judge personally. But yeah, head scratcher for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us thought he was going to jump in the portal, but it sounds like he's really happy here. And so, does he even have another year left of eligibility after next year? I don't know. I don't know if he has a COVID year or not. I don't think so. So this would be his final year, and basically, sitting on the bench for 4 years. Um, but hey, maybe he just loves being an Aztec, being a part of the team. Being on scholarship, getting his education. We don't know what
Mhm.
prompted his decision to stay. So, hey, 4 years as an Aztec, let's celebrate that, right? We're
Right.
not going to have a lot of guys who are going to be Aztecs for 4 years based on the conditions of the transfer portal right now and what's going on. So I think you got to celebrate whether they were very productive for you or not. Productive on the court. I'm sure he's a great teammate off the court, and he wouldn't be around here if he wasn't. So happy for him, and who knows, you don't know too, someone who has that experience, right, could get thrust into a role next year, and we may need him. So I'd rather have him as emergency and a guy that has been in the system for a while. Yeah, there may be some flaws there with shooting and whatnot, but we know he can defend, we know he can rebound. So
You
um,
never know.
You
You never know. He may be called upon, like you said, in a crunch time moment, and you're gonna need that body, that big body, to come in there and perform. And you never know. You never know. So I think that gives us a good chance to wind this episode down and kind of get up on our soapbox a little bit, right? Because listen, we're bringing in transfers, and we were all pretty bummed out to see transfers leave. But
Yeah.
this is the nature of the beast. This is the nature of what we are all rooting for right now. Of course, Wayne McKinney. I mean, he was at USD right across town. He's coming to San Diego State because he wants to be here, right? But no doubt it's a bigger platform. It's a bigger chance for him to be developed, to possibly play at the next level. He's gonna be getting bigger and better opportunities. NIL, even, I'm sure, right? So the same reasons guys are coming to San Diego State are the same reasons guys have moved on. So I think one of the signs of a healthy program is that it's not stagnant. You know, if you're putting out coaches that are getting head coaching jobs elsewhere, if you got players that are, you know, rising the ranks and getting bigger opportunities elsewhere, you hate to lose guys, you hate to lose key components to your program, but that's a clear sign that it's a healthy program. And if you got certain guys that you're head scratching, and you know some of the fans don't necessarily see, well, what's the fit? What's going on here? Well, there's a lot going on that we don't know about. So you really just got to trust the expertise of the coaches. And hey, if it's a matter of really being dedicated to a young man, I'm all for that. That's really cool. We'll find out though. We'll find out soon enough. It's gonna be a long spring and rest of the summer rounding out this team. I'm excited and look forward to seeing these new additions, and hopefully one more. Hopefully one more we'll be able to have another episode and some insight for you guys.
They're definitely going to get one more. I think Coach Velasquez said on the radio today they've got one more piece of the puzzle before they, take a break. They've got to nail this piece of the puzzle. So they're working on another to fill that final scholarship.
Awesome. Fiend, thank you for joining. Thank you for your article. Make sure you guys go check that out at sonsofmontezuma.com. It's an excellent article. Fiend has been putting in work, really diving in deep to look at these guys, look at their games, and man, being ahead of the curve. I'll tell you that. sonsofmontezuma.com. Appreciate you guys for subscribing, liking, and always supporting what we do. Of course, we are an independent media and NIL company. Eddie-O, nah, man, you didn't invite me to your birthday, dude. We'll have to get your question at the next one, man. We'll answer that. We'll answer that another time, man. We're out of time. We're out of time. Oh, Fiend had to go in there. I'll save you. All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining. We'll see you all next time. Until then, go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs.